Today's hearing was intended to provide us with much-needed answers and clarity to many questions that I and members of this committee have in light of the reported data breach. On July 25th of 2020, the Department of Health entered into a contract with Georgia-based Insight Global, LLC, to the tune of $22.9 million. The purpose of this contract was to provide contact tracing staff for the state's contact tracing efforts related to the COVID-19 pandemic. On September 8th of 2020, this committee held an oversight hearing featuring the Deputy Secretary for Health Innovation and the Special Assistant to the Secretary of the Department of Health to review, at the time, the contact tracing smartphone app. This committee was given every assurance that this data would be secure and safe and would follow all cybersecurity best practices. The original purpose of today's public hearing was to understand the simple questions that we've been asked by our constituents. When did the department know? Who is impacted? What information do these contact tracers have in their possession? Why didn't the department immediately cancel its contract with the vendor? And where does this data go after the pandemic is over? After working to set this hearing up, the committee confirmed the attendance of Acting Secretary of Health, Allison Beam, as well as Kira Kleinpeter, who is the Executive Deputy Secretary at the department. After sunshining this public hearing last week, members were finally going to receive the answers that their constituents so desperately wanted and need. Sadly, on Friday at 6 p.m., I was called by the Department of Health and informed that they would no longer be testifying at this hearing. The opportunity to provide transparency lost, yet questions still remain. More importantly, there are potentially over 70,000 Pennsylvanians who have very sensitive data out there that could be compromised. A WPXI reporter broke the story and has since caused a myriad of reactions by the administration as to when the department was first notified of this breach. The department claimed they were made aware of the security breach recently when they notified the General Assembly on April 29th. However, emails between employees at Insight Global show that concerns were raised back in February. And here we are in mid-May. And this administration is allowing this contract to continue through the end of July. This vendor is also conducting similar efforts in New York State. How many bids were received under this emergency RFP? We don't know. We do not know the age range of individuals impacted and what information is known. All we know is that at least 72,000 individuals who were contacted now have had their name, phone number, and email address, along with personal information such as gender, age, sexual orientation, and COVID diagnosis and exposure status out there, potentially in the wrong hands. I appreciate that Attorney General Shapiro is looking into this matter, as his office can look into civil fines pertaining to any HIPAA violation. His office can also look into criminal actions for possible violations as well. In 2018, our Attorney General filed against Uber for and I quote, a massive data breach. That data breach impacted 13,500 Uber drivers. Today, we are talking about more than 70,000 Pennsylvanians with this breach. Given the sensitive healthcare data that is now exposed, I hope the Attorney General looks into this matter as well. As Pennsylvanians continue to have more questions, this committee will take any action necessary to provide the transparency lacking to ask those questions. And that includes issuing subpoenas if we are unable to get the answers that the people of Pennsylvania deserve. This is very sensitive information that is now floating around on the internet, information that many of us would never want to have on a public forum for any individual to access. Again, that is why our committee will evaluate all tools at our disposal to exercise our role of oversight. And to the people who are impacted on this issue, here are a few resources. To file a HIPAA violation with the United States Department of Health and Human Services, please visit hhs.gov/HIPAA, HIPAA, /filing hyphen a complaint. I thank the members of this committee who are with us here today, and if any of the members would like to speak, you are welcome to add your questions into the record. Senator Stefano.
Thank you, Chairman Hill. I'm very disappointed today that we can't ask these questions. Something I've said at the beginning of this pandemic, I had really big concerns about contact tracing and data privacy. You're talking about contacting so many different people, and the Department of Health was handling that. So I didn't feel too bad about it, but I still had very big concerns. So now we have a lot of questions. Who had oversight with this contractor at the Department of Health? How were they watching what this contractor was doing? This is Pennsylvania's private data that they were dealing with. And who was asking those questions? Who was making sure? We need to know. We represent everyone in our districts, and we need to answer to them what happened. What kind of liability now has this exposed the residents of Pennsylvania, our taxpayers? What are they going to be on the hook for with all these data breaches, and what liabilities are out there? These are the questions that I have, and as you can see, the chairs are empty. We don't have answers. Where is that government that works in that transparency? That's what I'm asking. That's what we need. That's why we have these hearings, to find these questions and get the answers for everyone in Pennsylvania, and we can't do that, so our work is just beginning. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Stefano. And again, you are correct. Oversight is one of the most important roles that the General Assembly fills. And I want to thank all of our colleagues who have joined us here today. And again, this committee will evaluate all legal options at our disposal to provide the transparency and accountability that is lacking with this contract. This committee stands in recess until the call. My apologies. Have I missed anyone who would like to offer remarks? Senator Judy Ward? Good, we're good. Thank you. Again, thank you. And I will reiterate again that the committee will evaluate all legal options at our disposal to provide the transparency and accountability that is lacking with this contract. And the committee now stands in recess until the call of the chair. Thank you.